Very good evening, friends. A very happy Gudi Padwa to all of you. We're going to start with new chapter on this day. That is chapter number 6 from H.A. Roberts' philosophy. And chapter is Homeopathy and Fundamental Laws. Previous session we have discussed related with the vital force, its applications, its relation with universe, everything related with vital force. The H.A. Roberts aspect looking toward the vital force. That's what we have discussed. Today, we're going to start with little bit practical aspect, that is application of those things, whatever we know, and laws, how they are formed, on what basis, how they are scientific, everything he tried to explain in this chapter. We're going to read the things which are necessary to discuss. I will going to discuss. We'll go a little bit fast because we have to reach to the practical aspects more. So we'll start with this chapter, the homeopathy and the fundamental laws. Among the followers of Hahnemann, we often hear the statement that homeopathy is fundamental. This sentence we used to listen many times, that it is scientific, that it is based on natural law. So these sentences we used to learn, but how and why, the answer we don't know. Let us grant, for sake of argument, that this is true. The natural corollary of this statement is that these laws must be active in all realms of fundamental science. That is, that in those sciences that deal with the established laws of universe, the same natural laws must be active. So what he is saying, if you want to say your laws are perfect, if you want to say that your laws are truth, they must go hand in hand with the nature's laws, or they should correlate with the basic sciences laws. If it is true, then you can say, yes, your laws are fundamental. Unless and until they follows the laws of science, those are not called to be a scientific laws. And that's what he is saying. We have to confirm whether our laws are scientific or not. It is evident that natural laws must work not in contradiction. Natural laws must work not in contradiction to each other, but in sympathy and cooperation. These laws are fixed and immutable. Very important thing is explaining. Your laws, that is the 7 cardinal principles, those should goes with the correlation with the laws of science, laws of basic science. So they might be laws of physics, laws of chemistry. They should be in relation with the laws of homeopathy. If it is so, if there is a sympathetic relationship between them, then you can say, yes, your laws of homeopathy are perfect laws. That which sets the planet in its orbit so regulates the other planets that they obey the same laws. Their difference lies not in governing laws, but in time, distance, and circumstance, which is again ruled by the law. So he has correlated it with the planets. The planets follows very specific direction. They never collide in each other. There is a difference between their energies. Every planet carries their own different energy, but it is fixed and they follow the nature. They never changes. There is no question of right of choice, and that's why they go continuously in the same specific way. And that's why you can fix the laws with the planets. We can understand the gravitational law on the basis of this. If the planets moved at random, lawlessly, the result would be chaos. But this never happened. There is no chaos. Chaos means gondhaleli sthiti, the collision. But this never happened because they follows very specific laws. And those laws are the part and parcel, or those laws are derived from the proper observation, on the basis of cause and effect, understanding them in a scientific way, and because of which those laws were prepared. And those laws which are there, which are related with the planets, are applicable to the homeopathic science. So, two, if one realm of universe was moved by fundamental laws which had no application or relation to the other realms of the universe, the result must be chaos. If one science is seemingly governed by laws which are contradictory to those of another science, one must be lawless, not a science, not science, but chaos would be the result. So if you are saying whatever your laws, they are your own laws, they never goes hand in hand with others, then there is a chaos. Then there is no question of a law. Either one of the law is wrong. If laws are dependent upon nature, they are fundamental, they should follow each other. They should go hand in hand with others. And if it is so, then you can confirm, yes, your homeopathic laws are fundamental laws. Why he has given this introduction? He wants to tell you how homeopathy is scientific and why homeopathic laws are scientific. Now he will going to show you the laws of nature in relation with the laws of homeopathy. So let us go ahead. What he says in homeopathy is a fundamental science. If homeopathy is a fundamental science or part of fundamental science, as we believe, it must work in harmony with all other natural realms, and the laws which apply to those realms must apply so in some degree and relationship to the homeopathy. See, this is what he is explaining. If you want to say your homeopathic laws are fundamental, then they must follow the laws of nature. They must go hand in hand, very close to each other. In spite of the years that have been devoted to the study of homeopathy, with their accumulated data, we glimpse but dimly the possibilities of this conclusion. When we realize the conclusion that man has caused in his individual life, in every sphere, it is little wonder that he has misunderstood the natural powers and resources and has failed to make use of natural law. It is not strange that the medicines among many other places of our modern life is but a series of experimental groupings without the form and order. The glimpse at our present state of social confusion cannot excuse our refusal to substantiate or our claim that homeopathy is based on natural law. Let us consider the place of homeopathy must hold if our contention be true. So here he tries to explain that what is there with the human being, whether human follows the nature's law, whether human follows the nature in a perfect way. No. If you will find it out, the human, he goes against nature many times. What he is doing, he is not following what the nature used to develop. And because of which there is always a chaos. If you go with the history of human being, you will find that the life of the human being was nearly about 125 years. Now, how much is the life expectancy of the human being? Now it has been reduced to half. It is going, if one passes 60, he is considered to be old. Previously, if one passes 100, he used to be considered the old. See, the changes have happened. Why these changes have happened? Because man is going against the nature. This is happening. He is consuming many medicines which never follows the laws. He is going against nature for many things. If something comes on skin, he immediately tries to remove it by any means. And it enters, it disturbs the harmony. So this is the thing which is happening. And because of which the original human being is getting changed. We say that we have prevented many diseases, but at what cost? We have prevented communicable diseases, acute diseases, but we have developed many more strong, chronic, autoimmune disorders. We have reduced the age of the human being. We considered we have prevented the diseases by giving vaccines. At what cost? Again, reducing the life of the human being. No one is considering that, and this is what he wants to explain over there. That if you want to understand human being, you'll find that these are the things which are going. But when you have to think about the homeopathic science, then we have to correlate whether our homeopathy follows the nature or not. So that's why he said, let us consider the place of homeopathy must hold if our contentions to be true. If homeopathy is founded upon fundamental laws, what are some of those laws? Our ignorance permits us to register but few, but inevitably the time will come if we keep a clear vision when we will be able to add more to our burden of proof. So he's saying we have to show to the world, yes, we are fundamental, where our laws are fundamental, and we have to show the relationship of our law with of our laws with the laws of nature or laws of basic science. Let us look at the first formulated and recognized law of homeopathy, similia similibus curantia. Whence came this law? It was simply an intelligent observation of our natural resources, those in their closest proximity to our daily lives in vegetable kingdom and their relation to disturbed and disordered conditions arising in mankind himself. It was found that the ills of individual man could be successfully treated thus. First, doubtless, these substances were found in the vegetable kingdom, later in the mineral kingdom and animal kingdom also. Still later came the knowledge that this was not by chance, on occasional means of cure, but that by law these substances acted in an orderly manner under the certain dependent conditions and circumstances. You know a better example of it, what he has said. No one was knowing that why cinchona used to produce produce a cure in malaria patient. No one was knowing the law behind that. Everyone was considering, and it has been a fathom that uh, this remedy, cinchona, is bitter in taste, and that's why it cures malaria. If it is so, the question put by Hahnemann was very correct. He said, if it is so, that every bitter remedy can remove or cure the malaria. But it was not happening. So something is wrong. But no one was going towards find it out, what is exact relationship. Hahnemann was the first one who started experimenting with this. He has experimented with those two sentences. And when he experimented both sentences written in Cullen's Mathematica on one page, it has been written that cinchona bark, if given to the healthy human being, produces symptoms like malaria. And another page, it was written that if cinchona bark is given to the malaria patient, it cures the malaria. Two contradictory statements. But he was the first one to confirm whether which statement is wrong. So he brought the cinchona plant, prepared a mother tincture, and take 4 ounces of mother tincture, and found the truth that yes, within 4 to 6 hours, he suffered from an attack of chill, rigor, typical malaria-like symptom. So first sentence was truth. He was very perfect with his. If we would have been there on the Hahnemann's place, we would have declared that second sentence is wrong. But he was Hahnemann. What he has done? He said, unless and until I experiment, I will not say that second statement is wrong. Only thing is that first statement is proof. That's what I have experimented. Then he got the patient of cinchona. Then he got the patient of malaria. He has given the cinchona juice to him. And to his surprise, that patient is also cured. Second sentence was also truth. So the inductive reasoning aroused in his mind, the inductive thinking developed in his mind. There must be correlation. If both the statements are clear, both statements are truth, then there must be correlation. There must be some law which works for this. The thought developed in his mind in 1790, but he has not declared it to the world immediately. He has not ran and immediately explained, yes, I got law of similars. What he has done, he has merely about experimented with this thought in mind. He has proved many remedies. He has utilized them for similar symptoms. And when he was confirmed regarding this law, in 1796, he declared to the world that there is a law of similars. So it is a part and parcel of facts and observation with which this law was developed. And then he understood it is not syncona which is bitter, which is because of which the patient of malaria getting cured. It is because there is similarity between the malaria symptoms and syncona symptoms. And law of similars works, and that's why the patient is cured. So he was the first one to explain the reason behind that. Yes, patient is cured only because there is law of similars. This is how the evolution of fundamental laws developed in homeopathy. So this is what he wants to explain over there, that whatever the laws are there, we are able to explain because there is scientific proof behind that. Then he says, this recognition of law underlying cure is of ancient origin. No one knows when the first recognition of this law crept into use, but ancient Hindu manuscripts recorded its application. So we are proud that it has been recorded in our literature, this law regarding the law of similars. Certainly, Aristotle recognized it, and the Hippocrates sensed the possibilities of this law and applied it in some recorded cases. From time to time, all through the medical history, this hypothesis was enunciated and demonstrated in greater or lesser degree. Hahnemann later demonstrated this law to be an universal and not an occasional circumstance. He called the science and art of healing, which naturally followed homeopathy, but the thought was not a new one. It was age old before the science healing was based solely on this law. So he is explaining regarding things, that history about this law. And he explains that this law was ancient. No one knows when it has formulated, but it was there in the Hindu manuscript. Then Aristotle followed it. Then after Aristotle, the Hippocrates followed it. But they have not experimented extensively, which was experimented very clearly by Hahnemann. And that's why Hahnemann was called to be an experimenter, because he reached to that level by experimenting and showing the proofs behind it. And because of which it was very, very much confirmed again and again. And ultimately in 1796, he declared it to the world. So the law is not developed within a day. It was there and it was very well. Hahnemann was the first person who verified it many times and confirmed and then declared it to the world. So this law, which is universal law, worked in such a way. And then he further says, in other words, in even embryonic stages of homeopathy, it was found that law governed. Gradual experimentation widened the possibilities of application of these laws. No amount of experimentation extended the law themselves. All the experimentation could do was to enlighten our minds regarding the scope of law. So this law was developed, then it was utilized, and it was very early in the homeopathy was in a very early stage. That's why he has used the word embryonic stage. But still, the experimentation was going on and verification was going on. Hahnemann was the first one who started with that, and he was continuing. He was developing that his law, and he was understanding why this law is working. He was looking towards this law and verifying it, the many proofs, because of which every time, whenever this law was utilized, it found that it is found to be a truth. A law is a fundamental fact, but because we do not recognize law does not mean that law does not exist. Even to the man-made laws, which in their essence are not laws in their true sense, but rules laid down by the man for man, it is recognized that ignorance of this law, recognize that ignorance of the law is no excuse. So this law was there, it was working. Only thing is that we don't know it was working. Many a times, many patients getting cured by mixtures. Things was like that one of the ingredient found to be a similar to that patient's complaints. And that's why the patients were getting cured. But recognition of the law, when recognition found, then after we started understanding why this mixture is working, because one of the ingredient is very similar to the patient's complaint, and that patient was getting cured. So see, this is how it develops. This is too important. Man has developed many laws. It is not man-made law. It is the law which is already there. Man was the first who discovered it. But there are certain man-made laws. For example, when you are walking, you must walk from the right side of the road. And when you are driving, you must drive it from left side of the road. Why man has made those laws? In order to avoid the chaos. There is no question that this is natural, this is original. These are called to be a man-made law for the purpose of getting the things easy. There should not be any disturbance. For prevention of the disturbance, man made certain laws. And those, if you follow those laws, you are remains in the state of ease. If you don't follow, you are in the chaos. But these laws are man-made laws, which doesn't have a correlation between the nature's law. But there are certain laws which are present over there in the universe where were working, but no one was knowing. The discovery of such laws was unique, and when we confirm it, verify it, that those goes in hand with the nature's law, we certainly say these are fundamental and more scientific. As observation become focused upon the unfolding of the law of cure, other regularities in reaction were discovered, and a second law of cure, this time pertaining to the direction of cure, was formulated, and this was, which is called to be a Hering's law of direction of cure. Cure takes place from above downward, from within outward, from an important organ to less important organ. Symptoms disappear in the reverse order of their appearance, the first to appear being last to disappear. And this is again a law which was developed after keen observation, because of which the things becomes very clear. We recognized it was present, it was happening like that, but no one was knowing that. Once it has been derived from the facts, and when we started applying it, then we found the truth. Yes, it is working, it is going in right direction, it is producing similar types of results. So this is how the laws, fundamental laws, gets developed. It is not the part and parcel of speculation. Someone thought and developed a law. It is not like that. These are the laws which were present. Only thing is that someone worked for them to find it out the truth of them. And then what he says, simple disappearance of symptoms is by no means cure. Symptoms often have periods of recurrence, but no true cure has ever been observed that did not follow the law of direction. So see, he is explaining that cure was happening, but which is exact cure and which is not a cure, which is just a palliation or which is suppression. In order to understand that, we must know the law. If the patient's symptoms disappeared, we should not be happy whether they are going in right direction or wrong direction. We are happy that there is an eczema and you apply the ointment and it has vanished. You are very happy. This has disappeared. You have cured the eczema. And within 4 to 6 months, the patient has developed a tuberculosis inside the chest. Is it a right direction? Whether the cure is happening in a right way? No, it's not so. Why? Because we know that it is going in wrong direction. It is turning from less important organ to the more important organ. It is going from periphery to the center. If it is so, we understand whatever is going on is wrong. Laws makes the thing simple, and because of which it becomes, it is easier for us to understand the cure. So such is the importance of law, and these are derived for your own observation. The one who has worked for it, his name is given to him. Hearing was the first person who has looked and observed, yes, this is how the cure is taking place from above downward, from within outward, from center to periphery, from organs of greater importance to the organs of lesser importance, and in the reverse order of appearance of symptom. This observation, it take long time for hearing to come to there. But because of which things has becomes very much clear and easy for us. This law was the result of facts. This law was the result of proper observation, called to be exact observation, because of which he derived this law. So this is what he wants to explain, and then he explains in the next paragraph, very important fundamental law, but that law we'll learn in tomorrow's session. If tomorrow is the Hanuman day, so best wishes to all of you on the occasion of that, prior to it. But I don't know, there is a seminar in our college. It takes nearly about 3 hours for that seminar. So if time persists, yes, I will send the link for the lecture. If it is not possible tomorrow, then I will let you know. But most probably, I will not miss the tomorrow session. I will be there. So that's all for today. Today evening at 8:15, we'll continue with the part second of the Ferrum Metallicum, so that we can learn the remaining part of the Ferrum Metallicum. A big remedy, constitutional remedy, very useful in our practice. And that's what 2 cases I have shared yesterday. Today I will going to share one more, and then we'll learn and finish the pyramid in today's session. So that's all there. We'll meet again in the evening at 8:15. Thank you. And again, a best wishes on the occasion of World Homeopathic Day, the Hanuman's Day. Good evening.
Have a good day.